Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, really. So yesterday I posted the reality of what I had been through for those bariatric surgeries, and I had so many messages in my inbox and just to me in general about whether or not I had bariatric surgery at the Mayo Clinic. Somehow that got all mixed up. And then I had questions about thyroids and parathyroids, and I really wish I had my old page because I lost a lot of the information I'm posting or talking about right now I had on my old page. So I'm going to try to do a short version because it might help someone out there. The Mayo Clinic I went to in Minnesota for my parathyroid that was ectopic, lost in my body. Um, for people that know me, I had 20 years of hyperparathyroidism. In 2002, I went to St. Mary's Hospital because my kidney stones were happening left and right, and I had a Dr. Zimmerman back then, and he sent me to have my first parathyroid out, which was with a general surgeon, so this would be my first mistake. But I was in my 30s, I had no idea. I was having a ton of kidney stones, and I had hyperparathyroidism, hypercalcemia. So I went to St. Mary's Hospital in Amsterdam, and Dr. Marsh took out the wrong parathyroid gland, put it back in, took another one out. That being said, they closed me back up. While you're having that surgery, you're hooked up to these blood tests that tell you whether or not your levels go to normal. Mine did not go to normal, but they did come down, so he assumed he had the right one. That was 2002. I spent from 2002 to 2013 with hyperparathyroidism, hypercalcemic, which means I don't even know, multitudes of kidney stones. I had Dr. Ghazi for a urologist in my 30s and my 40s, and he removed stones, he blasted stones, he did cystoscopies, everything you can imagine that is violating, I had. So I had kidney stones. That's called the Mohs, Bones, Stones, and Groans disease, because when you have hyperparathyroidism, it takes the calcium from your bones and puts it in your blood and your urine. If I didn't have this, I would not know. So your body can't process it. So with that being said, 2013, they sent me to a endocrinologist surgeon in Albany Medical Center. She assured me, she had 25 years experience, that she would be able to find the bad parathyroid gland and take it out. So I underwent a horrible it's 3 days of testing. Horrible testing. They have to go up your nose, down your throat. Then you do all these scans that they give you, stuff that make everything light up. Then you have, it's just like 3 days of sestamibi scan. This is how it used to be. Sestamibi scans, sestamibi, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's 3 days of testing. And then they are supposed to find the target and then go in there and get the bad parathyroid gland. You have 4 parathyroid glands that are in the back of your throat. You have 1 thyroid in the front of your throat. The thyroid controls your whole body, and the parathyroids have one job, and that's to regulate calcium in your body. I now had one that was taken out, that's gone, and one that was put back in somewhere. So we don't know what's going on. 2013, she assures me she's going to take out the bad one. My hypercalcemic would come down, my hyperparathyroidism would come down, and this was in Albany Medical Center, July of 2013. She removed my whole thyroid that had nothing wrong with it, and she removed every visible parathyroid I had left. And my levels on the blood work while they were operating came down a little bit. I guess that's just something that happens when they're doing the operation. So they assumed they got the right one again. The reason she took my thyroid out was she thought it had a tumor on it that was cancerous, possibly. When she took it out and they sent it for pathology, it was the parathyroid gland that the first surgeon in 2002 put back in. You can't make this stuff up, and if I've already lost you, I've lost you. So I have so many people that have said, "What, have they fixed your thyroid? Have they fixed your thyroid?" They did not fix my thyroid. They took my thyroid. There's nothing I could do about that. There was nothing wrong with it. It was the mistake of 2 surgeons. So now, 2013 that was, I was so sick. I literally started on this medication called Sensipar, which is for people that have end-of-life renal failure, kidney failure. So they started me at a low dose. And then in 2014, I went to Boston Mass General. I had already, that year, came out of work. That's how sick. Peeing blood, it's horrible. So Mohs, Bones, Stones, and Groans, They do scans on your bones to see what age your bones were. I was already at age, like, in my 40s, I was at age late 50s. And then it's just a debilitating, painful process. So I'm trying to talk fast. I know this could be a lot. I went, I'm going to pause you for a minute. Boston Mass General, Mass Eye and Ear, top Dr. Randolph, top in the Northeast. He put me through 3 days of testing. I spent thousands of dollars. I had a hotel, and they could not find the bad parathyroid gland. That's with 4D ultrasounds going down my throat, doing every kind of scan they can come up with. They could not find it. So then I asked him, did nothing. He said, did you stay on the Sensipar? There's nothing he could do. If I was a patient of his, I wouldn't be on Sensipar because he would have done the surgery right. And he didn't talk to me. He talked to the person I was with at the time. So I progressively got worse. He told me to come back and they would do another scan if it got worse, and maybe it would show up. So I progressively got much worse. In 2018, my husband David and I spent thousands of dollars, stayed in a hotel. I did the same 3 days of testing. He talks to Dave. He doesn't talk to me, which was really not nice. And he said, there's nothing he could do. He can't find it. So I'm like, how do you lose a gland in your body? So now it's 2020. COVID has happened. Things have broke out. I am at stage 3 renal failure. I was peeing blood continuously. And I went to my own endocrinologist, and I was at the maximum dosage of that Sensipar. And all Sensipar does is keeps the calcium level down in your blood. So it does nothing for the urine. So your urine is trying to process all this calcium that's coming out of your bones into your urine, because I have one gland in my body that no one can find. And I asked her, isn't there a PET scan that shows this? She said, no, there's not. I came home, and this is no lie, in 2020, probably around October, I Googled PET scan for parathyroid gland, and it showed a man had it done at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota in 2019. He went in for prostate cancer. They did a Coline PET scan, and most of his problems were not coming from his prostate. It was coming from the fact that he had a huge parathyroid gland that was ectopic and not where it was supposed to be, and that scan lit it up. I wrote, there was a pop at the bottom of the page, it says apply to be a patient. You have to apply. It's a research hospital. I didn't know what else to do. It was October of 2020, and things were bad. So literally I wrote to an endocrinologist, and he wrote me back almost immediately, and they took me as a patient on my birthday, December 17th of 2020, via Zoom. The first thing he did was apologize for the first 2 surgeons that massacred me, and it would have been 20 years. Second thing he did is says for me to fly out there. That place is top notch. If you fly there, they have a room, there's like a travel agent for them that is booked, that stays close to it's attached to the hospital. You walk to your hospital appointments. When you walk in, there's 150 phlebotomists, and they're waiting for you. You have an itinerary on your phone and paper. I mean, the place is amazing. So he told me to be cautiously optimistic. And all I had left in me was one bad gland, and it was really bad. We were at the hospital the night before. I have pictures, it's gross. Blood, pee, passing stones. There were stones in the toilet. It was bad. I was sick. It was bad. I was 422 pounds at the Mayo Clinic and blowing up like a fish, because I don't even know why. I had nothing going on except I tried to move all the time, but it was gross. So I met with Dr. Melody Leiden. If you look her up, she's top of the American Association of Endocrinology. She is the surgeon. She's exactly my age. Long story short, they did a man's prostate cancer Coline PET scan. I signed a research paper that I would be a project if it was successful. And my parathyroid level was 461. It's supposed to be between like 10 and 60. My calcium was at 11, which doesn't sound high, but if it's 11, it's high. It's like the number really is high. Anyway, the whole goal was to find the bad gland, and then what? It's supposed to be a bad gland, right? Well, they found it. How no one else found it, I'll never know. I don't remember a lot of this because my husband talked to her after I was operated on, but they tugged it off my vocal cord nerve. It was an inch big. It's supposed to be the size of a grain of rice. It was my last parathyroid gland. I have no thyroid. They took a piece of it out and implanted it into my chest. So a piece of a bad parathyroid gland is implanted in my chest at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. That was now January of 21 that this was done. The day they discharged me, I got severe COVID in the hotel. I really don't remember much. They put me back in the ICU, and I thank God that I was there because they had remdesivir and all the treatments that weren't in New York yet. They saved my life with my parathyroid gland, finding it. Here's the thing. So the minute they took that bad one out, I had no calcium. I had 0. And then I had to wait until the transplant 6 weeks to see if it took. If it took, then my levels would go back to normal. So how they took an abnormal gland and made it, a piece of it, be normal is really a scientific, I'm like, donate my body to science. I don't know. I'm at 10 minutes. So now I'm in the hospital in the ICU with my throat that has an incision going straight across, and I have COVID, and I don't remember, and I had a pulmonary embolism, and I was in the ICU for, I think, 5 or 6 days. My husband was in the hotel, probably with COVID too, because he was so sick. They wouldn't let us on a plane. We had to rent a car and drive from Minnesota for 3 days, and I don't remember a lot of that. And when I got home, luckily, you guys, I had no voice. Everybody knows it was like months, and it took me 8 months to recover from that. I went through the COVID recovery group at Nathan Latour, which was with Nicole Higgins running it. I could barely breathe and talk. I couldn't walk and talk. I couldn't walk from my house to Diamond Point. And that is why 6 weeks went by, my levels came to normal. Now, God, thank you, because my levels are still normal. Now, if you look up Coline PET scans looking for ectopic parathyroid glands, no lie, it's now a thing. We paid $12,000 for that test out of pocket because it wouldn't be covered because it was for a man. So now, I don't know if they cover it, but the point is because of research in that hospital, they do this. So I had put all of this in a post on a parathyroid page on Facebook, and I wanted anyone out there that's went through my journey of that to know that this exists, because if you know someone that has hyperparathyroidism and they can't find the parathyroid that's bad, there's a test for that, and it's a Coline PET scan for man's prostate cancer. That's the best I know. I am now, I signed the paper. They have like 30 other cases. I think I was number 30 that year or something that they've done this with. So far, so good, you guys. My thyroid is gone. They took it. They shouldn't have. There was nothing wrong with it. So my endocrine system is all messed up and not like yours. It was just a crap show. So I wanted to clear that up. That Mayo Clinic and COVID, that the COVID came from Amsterdam because my husband got it in the hotel room and his bosses had it that he was with on Friday. So luckily, you guys, I busted out with COVID on Friday after they discharged me, or that surgery would have never happened. Everything happens for a reason, and I truly believe I was supposed to have all of that happen to get me to this weight loss journey, because after I started getting healthier and feeling the hypercalcemia go down and the parathyroidism go away, I said I got to get the weight off. And then I tried everything. They put me on Ozempic. I was diabetic. I had 4 or 5 blood pressure pills, water pills, and sleep apnea. I was huge and I couldn't move. And Ozempic was to try to help me to lose weight. I didn't lose the weight. It wouldn't come off no matter what I did. I swam. Everybody knows me, knows I was never a sedentary person, but I was that year. I couldn't even freaking move. So now I move. In fact, I'm not wearing my rings because we're taking down Christmas, and what is your house like after you do that? I am scrubbing cabinets and walls from top to bottom and cleaning and dust bunnies and trying to clean and mop. But I wanted to get on here to clarify that the Mayo Clinic was for the parathyroid gland. I'm going to post this video and I'm going to name it Thyroid Parathyroid because there's someone out there that needs to know this. And I hope that clears up those questions. Bariatric surgery was Capital Bariatrics in Albany, and it's Dr. Matthew McDonald. He does duodenal switch. They do it on really large people, but he does it in 2 sections most times, I think. He's not like fluent in it. His most is the same as everyone else. Gastric sleeves, RNY bypasses. He has done maybe a half a dozen, I think it was, when he did mine of the duodenal switch. So yeah, roller weight loss in Arkansas is where I learned everything. Look it up if you're even interested. You're not a candidate if you're not diabetic and you're not really massively huge. GLP-1s are working for people, so do them if you don't have a lot of weight to lose. Do whatever works for you, but you know, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you that this journey for me, I knew I would need ibuprofen and steroids in my future based on my history, and sure enough, I have needed ibuprofen and steroids, so I couldn't have an RNY bypass. I didn't want an RNY bypass. I wanted what I had, and so far so good. I am just going to keep going. Thank you guys. I hope that answers the Mayo Clinic. The best hospital in the country is what it says, and it really is. Have a great day.